Hey guys, we're here on The Path and I am super excited. In fact, we are all buzzing over here because we are going to be speaking about the global phenomenon that is The Chosen. We get to go up close and personal with some of my favorite actors on set, and we get to ask them some really beautiful questions about how they prepare for the role, the things that challenge them the most, and some funny moments that you're not going to want to forget. Coming up next, we get to speak with George H. Xanthis, who plays John, and Luke Dimyan, who plays Judas. My goodness, what a conversation we had about their approach and method to the role, what they love the most about this retelling of a beautiful historical story, the challenges of playing a role that has so many dark layers to it, and I love what Luke has to say about humanity and dignity when it comes to the role of Judas. Guys, you are gonna love this conversation. We get to speak with some of the cast from The Chosen, y'all. Come join me on this trek. It's going to be amazing. Available on all podcast platforms, or you can stream it in Canada into thecastle.com, watch it across the nation on Yes TV, or you can stream it anywhere in the States on any streaming platforms that are available. I will see you on the path.
You're listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nemhard, brought to you by Fight for Freedom. Follow Cheryl Nemhard on all social media platforms.
Hey guys, Cheryl Nemhard here on The Path, and I'm so excited to be with two phenomenal actors. And they're kind of, good looking, easy on the eyes too as well. We've got George H. Xanthis in the building, Luke Dimyan, I did that to throw them off, playing respectively John and Judas from The Chosen. Welcome, welcome, guys.
Hi, good to see. Threw off indeed. We got
Indeed. Well, come on. Your fan base, your swelling fan base, isn't just because you guys are dropping all the heat in acting. You guys do actually cut a nice, fine picture, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. I guess we overcompensate because we're so often like dirtied up, and we're in the middle of the desert, and we're in our potato sacks. So hashtag potato sack crew, the OG. But yeah.
I love it. Listen, I would love to know this question, and I know that you've been asked this so many times, so do please forgive me in advance, but how do you prepare for a role like this, which I think is just such a huge historical account? What's your method? What's your, you might have individual sort of like approaches. I'd love to hear both.
Well,
now
you go first.
I was going to say that I kind of, the way that the show is for me, like obviously, there have been so many depictions of Jesus' life, but I really do feel like, especially given the time that we have, 7 seasons, 8 episodes a season, it feels like an historical period piece. So I approached it as such. I wanted to know about this historical figure of John. I didn't know much about him. I hadn't read, his gospel, and that's something that was super... I'm super grateful for. Not a lot of the other actors do have a book that they can kind of refer to. So you can draw little bits and pieces from that. Really smart guy. I mean, if you kind of put yourself in the historical context of John, he's writing in ancient Greek, which only very, very intelligent people back in 2,000 years ago would do. If you could write in that language, it meant that you had some education. So, these little bits of like nuggets of information you can use, and this is what an actor would use, for any role. But the other thing is that you can also point to other points, other points in the Bible, like John is considered, not only, the disciple of love and the beloved disciple, but he's also considered son of thunder. So you can I'm very lucky that John has got a lot either written about him or there is a lot of reference to him. So I can kind of piece together, like an historian would, you kind of take little nuggets of information. And I did study history, and I'm a keen history buff. So I guess that served me very well when researching the role.
I love that. Thank you for that. Luke, what about you?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty familiar with biblical history from my childhood, but I kind of went about this role the same as I would with anything, with any other role. I went into the script, technique, repetition, and being aware of the things that come ahead. There's only really one major point that everyone kind of focuses on with Judas, so I just focused on the character that was given to me, making that believable, making that real, and focusing on my fellow actors, which kind of gets really easy after you do it for a bit. But yeah, it's really, when it comes down to it, if I had any questions, I would just go to the writers, Tyler Thompson and Ryan Swanson, and Dallas, of course, because at the end of the day, it's their show. Like, the biblical reference is just a piece of it, but at the end of the day, they're building this character up to the different arcs that they want to take him. So I just want to make sure that I'm aware of that. I'm building it to where they want it to go, and understanding him at a more base character level.
Yeah, so good. I had the chance to meet Taylor and Ryan just a couple of weeks ago and had a great conversation with them here in Toronto, Canada, which is where I'm from here.
Awesome.
My family was just in Canada last week.
No way.
Seriously.
Okay, let's go.
Just have to say very quickly, Aussies and Canadians, I feel like we understand each other a little more. I mean, yes, I am in the USA right now, but there are things that I kind of say to Americans that Canadians just understand more. So I feel a deep connection to a fellow member of the Commonwealth.
There is a deep connection.
Man, I feel like the odd man out.
And listen, don't feel out. We
just a casual Californian sitting here in my chair, not knowing what a biscuit is, like, just trying my best.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, you are loved, deeply loved here in Canada. And this will air right across the nation on television, so it'll be great in North America on both sides. But speaking of Taylor and Ryan and Tyler and Ryan and these incredible layers of storytelling, I want to go back to you, Luke, for a second, because I can't even imagine the complexity of portraying probably the first notorious villain in history, like just most hated, his name symbolic with betrayal and sabotage. Like, literally, when you call someone a Judas, that's what it means. I'd love to know, and I hope no one's asked you this or close to it, but Luke, how do you bring humanity and dignity on Judas's journey, knowing what we know ultimately about him?
Well, I do the best that I can by just looking at him as he kind of is, which is outside of the hindsight view and just purely as human. Because I always find it really ironic how people see him as this ultimate villain when really all he did was, not to downplay, I mean, betrayal of Jesus is a pretty big deal, but like, the one thing he did, he felt so bad for that he immediately committed suicide, and he gave the money back. Like, he didn't, like, take it, run off, find a vineyard out in, like, Naples and be like, well, you mess something up, a new door opens, whatever. But, like, it stuck with him, and it stuck with him so hard that he ended. Also, I'm pretty sure, like, Julius Caesar existed, like, right before him. I'm pretty sure he did some pretty villainous things historically, but it's like a lot more murder, a lot more enslavement, like a lot of bad things. But it's easy to, like, look at Judas and be like, no, that's the bad guy. That's the guy we're going to, like, hate easily because he did something bad to someone that we loved. And I think it's very easy to forget that Judas loved Jesus too. And maybe what he did wasn't completely in full betrayal, but in full, maybe in a misunderstanding. And because there's more to a person than just their worst deeds, and I think you can tell that with what the show is portraying, and it's very easy to connect with that, especially in historical context of a character that's just written about in hindsight. There's so much open to him to play with in context of, like you said, like humility or giving him dignity. That can exist, and he could still make this tremendously horrible mistake. They coincide, and that's kind of what makes him human to me.
Yeah, and you do such a great job at that. You give us all these beautiful layers that maybe we weren't open to receiving, and now we're just seeing this beautiful side of Judas that we're being drawn to, even though, as we said, there's a big error on his part. But humanity, you do that so well. Thank you for that, Luke,
Thank
so
you.
much. To you, you're welcome. To you, George. How do you like? What drew you to this project in the beginning? And how do you feel about the way that we're talking about this sort of like creative way, the way that Chosen approaches these biblical characters and kind of stretches our thinking a little bit, takes them out of the box? What are you loving about that?
I think both of the answer to both of those questions is in the way that The Chosen kind of has approached this story. I always say it's called The Chosen and not The Jesus. And it's called that because we are focusing on those who knew Jesus best. We're looking at Jesus's life from the outside looking in. It's not from the inside kind of looking out, although we are really on the inside by being in the, the lives and the kind of narrative arcs of all these people who were closest to Jesus. And I think it was that approach that made me know for a fact that when we started, it's actually the first episode. I was actually looking on a shameless plug. I was trying to show my friend The Chosen here in the United States. They were an Aussie visiting, and I literally could go on any of the streaming services and I could find it. So kudos to us. We are on every single streaming platform. But yeah, and I showed, because Netflix was down, so then I had to put it on Peacock, and it's like, I got an embarrassment of riches of where to watch The Chosen. But the log line for the first episode is a fisherman down on his luck, can't pay his taxes to the Roman government, decides to betray his own people in an attempt to settle his debt. I'm like, what? Talk about historical period piece drama, I think that's the strength of the show. We're not only getting the wisdom and the teachings of this incredible person, Jesus, but we're also getting a taste of what life was like 2,000 years ago. I don't know if another project has really done that. And whether they've had the opportunity to do it or not, that's probably more the question. We've got 7 seasons to tell this story. And that's for me, that's what makes the show the most rewarding. It's the fact that we get to see this from the eyes of people who were living 2,000 years ago.
Okay, well, beautiful. You gave me two of my questions altogether, so I'm going to skip one because that was brilliant. You are brilliant. I knew this. Who's the prankster between the two of you guys? And I'm going to tack on. Who's the prankster? Who's the funny one? And give me a funny behind the scenes moment that happened maybe in the past season.
Ooh, I
So
think we're both.
do we prank? I don't know if we prank. We joke a lot. We do a lot of impressions.
Yes,
to one
we
another.
do. We have a lot of fun. If you ask me,
Okay.
I'd say I think George is the funnier of the two. I think he's just got like more of like a repertoire. Like I pull stuff out like really obvious. Like, yeah, no, he's a Robert De Niro, and he'll be like, here's an Australian specific newscaster. Like, who's that one guy you do? The one guy who does the nature documentaries?
Oh, Steve Irwin.
No, not Steve Irwin. The other one. The subtle
Oh.
one.
Oh, right. Nature documentaries.
The guy who's
I
like,
don't know.
yes, and this is the stalwart rhino, and he's moving onward in.
Can't remember.
I can't remember either.
By the way, very quickly, prankster on the set, I would say, is Joey. And you guys may have actually seen some of Joey's pranks. He did a little a little loving kiss to everybody, but he would ask us to smell something on his tunic. He's like, dude, does this smell weird to you? And you'd go in and then he'd just give you a kiss on the cheek. And he got all of us. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know about you.
No, I was the odd man out. I didn't get a kiss, which is ironic considering everything. Mostly because in high school, I was definitely pranked by a lot of my friends. So I saw something coming from a mile away. I thought it was malicious. I thought I was about to be made a fool of, a real dunkaroo. But no, it was just something lovely, and I missed out on it. And I should have just trusted my fellow cast.
I feel like that isolation was just part of the method acting of making you feel like you're outside of the gang.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's
true. I think that's why everybody kind of like, when we start eating lunch, we just sit separate from me, and you guys give me my space. It helps.
Can I very quickly, there's a behind the scenes thing that no one will know because we didn't record it or anything, but we were shooting water at Noah from a little squirt gun, but
Love it right
from like meters away, and he kept telling everyone, "Dude, is there a leak in this like we're in like a studio, we're in like one of the sets." And we all started ignoring, going like, "Noah, you're trying to like punk us. We know. Like, stop pretending that there's water on you." And then like one of us would be like, and we would pass the gun around, and so he wouldn't know where it's coming from. And he was on his own, literally. And by the way, Noah is like the kindest, most laughing soul that you will find on set. It was so interesting to see him with a smile on his face, like, what is happening here? It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I've got like about maybe 2 minutes. I am dying to do this speed round with you. I want you to strap in. Here we go. Just shout it out. Okay, guys, cake or pie?
Pie.
Cake.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea.
Oh, Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
Crocs.
And I'm wearing Nike. How weird is that?
I just want to say for the record that George said Adidas.
Yes.
I feel like Europeans might say it that way, but I say Adidas.
Adidas.
Okay, superhero films or comedy?
Comedy.
Superhero films.
Luke is my guy right there. And of course, the age-old battle of Ryans, Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling?
Reynolds.
Oh no!
Hands down, Reynolds. I had a dream about him. I had a dream about Ryan Reynolds. I met him in Liverpool talking about Wrexham.
That's hilarious. Okay,
last night.
Luke, who's your Ryan?
Oh my goodness. Ryan. Oh, Reynolds. I gotta choose Reynolds.
He's going to Reynolds. Okay.
It's just Gosling's so good. If he didn't do Nice Guys, if he didn't do Ken, if he didn't do like so many other things where he was just like so expressive.
I could stay with you guys forever. I'm trying to honor the time. I'm cutting all my questions. We're going to end it here. But listen, this is a bonus. I will not judge you, and neither will my community. I promise. Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, I have to say Tupac.
Luke, you look stressed. You look so stressed. You're like, I need to get this right. Okay, sorry,
I'm gonna get
George,
so much hate for this.
Tupac. I liked him first, and then I discovered Biggie afterwards.
I'm a Biggie fan. I'm sorry. Notorious B.I.
Biggie for you?
I gotta go with Biggie. Like, no, all respect to Tupac, but when Biggie's flow just hits, I'm just like, I'm good to go.
Well, guys, you heard it here. There's a massive unity and nothing but family on the set of Chosen until today, when we have the East Coast versus the West Coast wars between George and Luke going down in history. Tupac versus Biggie. Guys, thank you so much for being on the path. It's been a joy. I just hope you guys come back again for more questions.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you. It was so fun. Thank you.
Well, guys, that was an incredible interview, but it's not over. We had a little bit of fun behind the scenes when I asked them some pretty hilarious questions, and one for the ages that got them stumped and stressed and laughing all at the same time. Take a look. And we're out. That's it.
I want to
Thank you. Sorry if we didn't get to questions. Sorry.
We love him. Well, do you guys listen to Tupac and Biggie?
I listen to
or
Biggie
were you just kind of
more than Tupac,
okay,
but I know I'm not about to disrespect Pac. It's him. It's the guy.
It's the guy.
As I have to say, as a kid listening to Changes, it just changed. It was like it was just a musical masterpiece to me. And I only discovered Biggie afterwards, so I actually like them equal, but I have to give props to the person who kind of opened my eyes a little bit. That Changes song is beautiful.
Could I just cheat and say Kendrick? I mean...
Kendrick. Oh, listen, don't get me started with Kendrick Lamar. We have to talk about the Super Bowl because I mean that was nuts. The one last year with Dre and anyways, this was awesome. We love you in Canada. Keep doing we're the land of Drake, Drizzy Drake over here.
Champagne popping,
you.
of course.
Right? Okay.
See ya. Thanks. Bye.
Wow, I want to thank George and I want to thank Luke for such a fun interview and being so honest and open and down to earth. Gosh, I wish I could have spent more time with them, but I know that they are super busy on this press tour as they begin the work of promoting season 4 of The Chosen. I hope that you've had a chance to see it. If not, please go. It's available in theaters, wherever movies are shown. And guys, I'm so excited about this retelling of the beautiful story of Jesus and the interactions with the disciples. What I love the most is the honest approaches to relationship. The fact that, there were mistakes, there were doubts, there were sins, there were moments where they questioned their own walk. There were times that they wondered, was it all worth it? And that humanity that's being brought to the screen is what I resonate with the most. This journey that we're in is not always shiny and sparkly. There are bumps along the way, and there are times that we wonder, is this walk of faith worth it? Is what we're going through, is it seen and known by Jesus? Does he see me? Does he understand? And what I can tell you for a fact is that he is acquainted with our grief. He knows our sorrow. He walked among us in flesh as human and knows what it means to be downcast, to be hungry, to be sad, to go through all the emotions that we go through. He is connected with our grief in ways that are so, so important. And so I just encourage you to continue this walk of faith, curiosity, wherever you are in this journey, and get to know Jesus on a personal, down-to-earth level. He is a friend. He is your brother. He is our teacher, our master, our Lord, our Savior. He's all of these beautiful things in one. And I have to thank the cast of The Chosen and the incredible writers, Tyler, Ryan, and Dallas, for bringing the Gospels to life in such a humane in such a beautiful, authentic way. The power of storytelling here is incredible. It's why we are all gravitating to The Chosen, just to see the interactions with the disciples as they become a family of their own. Yeah, so thanks, guys. I want to encourage you guys, go see them, get to know them, watch it from season 1 if you haven't. Track with us. You too will fall in love with The Chosen. Until then, guys, keep living, keep learning, keep loving, and I will see you on the path.
Thank you for listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nemhard, brought to you by Fight for Freedom. This has been an Exousia Media production.